Dr. Adam was one of the most famous surgeons in Greenfield Hospital. He was skilled, confident, and fast in his work. Patients trusted him because his surgeries were almost always successful. But inside the hospital, many staff members found him hard to deal with. He liked to command, to lead, and to show that he was the best. Some respected him, but others were tired of his pride. He was not a bad person, but his ego often made him careless about the feelings of people around him. Greenfield Hospital was known for its busy operation theater. Doctors, nurses, and interns moved from one room to another all day. Every moment counted. In such a place, teamwork was everything. But Adam liked to believe that only his hands could save a patient. He rarely listened to advice, and when someone tried to correct him, he took it as an insult. His belief was simple. He thought no one could teach him anything new. One Monday morning, the hospital atmosphere changed. A new department head was coming, someone who would lead the medical and administrative teams together. Rumors spread quickly. People said she had worked in several big hospitals and had turned them into some of the best in the country. Her name was Maya. She was calm, confident, and known for her leadership. She had a strong record, but no one in Greenfield Hospital had met her before. Everyone wanted to see what kind of person she was. Adam was not interested in meeting new managers. In his mind, administrators only talked about reports, numbers, and paperwork. He believed doctors were the real heart of the hospital. So when he heard about the new head, he only said that as long as she stayed out of his way, there would be no problem. He had no idea that his life in the hospital was about to change in a very surprising way. The next day, Adam had a major surgery scheduled. It was a complex heart procedure that required a full team of skilled nurses and assistants. Early in the morning, he walked into the operating room with his usual confidence. The bright lights, the sound of machines, and the smell of sterilized air always made him feel powerful. The team stood ready, wearing masks and gloves, waiting for his orders. One of the new staff members was assigned to assist him that day. She wore her mask, gloves, and blue gown like everyone else. Her eyes were sharp and focused, but calm. Adam noticed her but did not bother to ask her name. To him, she was just another nurse. He gave instructions quickly and the operation began. As the surgery continued, Adam asked for a specific tool. The new nurse moved to prepare it. She paused for a brief second to double-check the tray. Adam looked up sharply. His tone changed. He said loudly that there was no time for hesitation in his operating room. Everyone stopped moving for a second. The nurse did not lose her calm. She handed him the tool carefully and continued to assist. Her movements were professional and confident, but Adam could not let it go. He said again that in his team mistakes were not allowed. He made sure everyone could hear it. The operation went well and the patient's life was saved. When it was over, Adam removed his gloves and walked to the sink to wash his hands. The new nurse was cleaning the equipment. She looked at him and said politely that there was a small suggestion she wanted to share. Adam turned toward her, surprised. He asked what it was. She said that if the preparation table was arranged in a slightly different order, it could help the process move faster. Her tone was respectful, not challenging, but Adam's pride reacted before his mind could think. He said she did not need to tell him how to do his job. He added that he had been doing surgeries for years and did not take lessons from new staff. The nurse stayed quiet for a moment. Then she said calmly that teamwork always brings better results, even for the best surgeons. She smiled slightly and went back to her work. The rest of the team stayed silent, not wanting to get involved. Adam felt irritated, but he tried to act like he did not care. In truth, he was embarrassed that a nurse had spoken to him like that. Later that day, Adam went to the hospital cafeteria. He sat with another doctor, talking about the surgery. He mentioned the new nurse and said she was too bold for someone new. His friend laughed and told him to relax. They did not know that the woman they were talking about had an office on the top floor of the building, and she was not a nurse at all. In her new office, Maya looked over reports from every department. She studied how the hospital worked, how staff behaved, and how patients were treated. She had been observing for 2 days without revealing her true position. She wanted to understand the hospital from the ground level. The behavior of Dr. Adam during the surgery had caught her attention. She did not take it personally, but she made a note to address his attitude in the future. For her, discipline and respect were key to good medical care. The next morning, a meeting was scheduled for all senior staff. Adam entered the conference room, talking with 2 other doctors. The room filled quickly. Everyone was waiting for the new department head to arrive. Adam looked at his watch and said quietly that he hoped she would not waste their time with long speeches. Just then the door opened. The woman who entered the room was the same one who had assisted him in surgery. Everyone stood up politely. Adam froze for a moment. His face changed from confusion to surprise. Maya walked to the front, smiled, and introduced herself as the new head of medical operations. She thanked everyone for their hard work and said she was happy to join such a skilled team. She then looked directly at Adam for a short moment and continued her speech. She talked about teamwork, respect, and how every role in the hospital was important. Her voice was calm, but her words carried meaning. Adam listened quietly, unable to look away. He realized who she was now and remembered everything he had said to her. When the meeting ended, Maya walked up to him. She greeted him politely and said that she appreciated his skill in surgery. She also said she hoped they could work together with better communication from now on. Her smile was kind but firm. Adam nodded, feeling both embarrassed and impressed. For the first time in a long while, he had met someone who could stand equal to him without fear. As he walked out of the meeting, Adam kept thinking about what had just happened. The woman he had spoken to so harshly was now his new boss. He felt uneasy, but somewhere deep inside he respected her calmness and strength. He knew this was only the beginning of a very different chapter in his career at Greenfield Hospital. The next morning, Greenfield Hospital buzzed with talk about Maya's first official meeting. Everyone spoke about her calm confidence and the way she handled herself. Some staff were impressed by her simple words and respectful tone. Others were curious about how she would deal with doctors like Adam, who had strong opinions and strong pride. Maya's short speech had already made an impact. She had talked about teamwork, kindness, and equality among all staff members. It was different from the usual hospital meetings that focused only on performance numbers. Dr. Adam arrived early that day. He was not the kind of man who liked surprises, and the fact that Maya had turned out to be his new boss had unsettled him. He respected skill and intelligence, but his pride still felt bruised. He had treated her as if she were an inexperienced nurse, and now she was the one who would evaluate his work. As he walked through the corridor, people greeted him politely, but he was too lost in thought to respond properly. He went into his office, placed his coffee on the desk, and stared out the window. He kept remembering her words from the meeting. She had said that every person in the hospital mattered, from the surgeons to the janitors. He thought about the way she had looked at him when she said that. It was not angry but firm, as if she already knew his weakness. Adam sighed and told himself to stay focused on his work. He was a surgeon, not a politician. If he did his job well, that would be enough. Maya began her day with a visit to each department. She wanted to learn how people worked, what problems they faced, and what needed improvement. She talked with nurses, technicians, and even the cleaning staff. Her questions were simple, but she listened carefully to every answer. The staff started to like her because she treated everyone with the same respect. When she reached the surgery department, she saw Adam giving instructions to his team. He looked serious as always. She watched quietly for a few minutes before entering the room. Adam turned around when he noticed her. The room fell silent for a moment. He greeted her politely and she nodded back. She told him she was just observing and asked him to continue his work. Adam went back to his notes, but his tone softened a little. He explained his plans for the next surgeries and discussed schedules. Maya asked a few questions about the tools and timing. Her questions were sharp and showed she knew what she was talking about. The nurses exchanged looks, surprised that the new head understood the technical side so well. Adam answered her questions carefully, trying not to sound defensive. After the round, Maya called him to her office for a short discussion. Her office was bright, organized, and filled with patient reports. She offered him a seat and thanked him for taking time out of his schedule. Adam sat down, wondering what she wanted to say. She started by praising his work, saying that his success rate was impressive and his dedication to patients was clear. Then she added that she wanted to make some changes in how the team worked during operations. She said she planned to create a new teamwork training program. The idea was to help staff communicate better in high-pressure situations. Adam listened, his jaw tightening slightly. He asked if she thought their communication was poor. Maya replied gently that communication could always be better, especially when lives were on the line. She added that sometimes even the most skilled people need to listen as much as they lead. Her words were polite, but Adam understood the hidden message. He nodded and said he would support the program. Maya thanked him and smiled, saying that his cooperation meant a lot. She then mentioned that she would be watching the surgeries for the next few weeks to understand how the team functioned. Adam left the office feeling uneasy. He did not like being watched, but deep down he respected her directness. She had not insulted him or shown anger. Instead, she had spoken to him as an equal, and that made him think differently. Days passed and the hospital started to feel more organized. Maya introduced new schedules, better resource management, and fairer work hours for nurses. The staff appreciated her changes. The atmosphere became more positive and teamwork began to improve. Adam noticed that the nurses who once hesitated now spoke more confidently in meetings. He also noticed that his assistants were more relaxed during surgeries. Slowly, he began to realize that the new rules were working. One afternoon, a difficult case came in. A young patient needed emergency surgery after an accident. The case was complex, and the team had little time to prepare. Adam was called immediately. Maya also arrived at the scene to observe. The team rushed to the operating room. Everyone moved quickly and efficiently. Adam began the procedure, giving instructions as usual. During the surgery, a small complication occurred. The patient's blood pressure dropped suddenly and panic filled the room. Before Adam could react, one of the nurses suggested a solution. A few weeks ago, he might have ignored her, but now he listened. Her suggestion worked. The patient stabilized and the surgery continued smoothly. When it was over, Adam took a deep breath of relief. He looked around and realized that the calm cooperation of the team had saved the patient's life. He looked at Maya, who was standing quietly near the door. She smiled approvingly. After the operation, Maya met him in the hallway. She congratulated him on the successful surgery and said the teamwork was excellent. Adam admitted that things had gone well because everyone had worked together. It was not easy for him to say that, but he meant it. Maya nodded and said that this was exactly what she hoped to see more of. She told him that his leadership had improved and that she appreciated his efforts. From that day, Adam started to change. He began to talk more politely to his team. He listened to suggestions and gave credit where it was due. The nurses noticed the difference and started respecting him even more. The tension in the department slowly disappeared. Maya saw the change and felt proud. She knew it was not easy for a man like Adam to adjust, but she also knew that true leaders could learn and grow. A week later, Maya held another meeting with all department heads. She reviewed the progress and shared data showing how teamwork had improved patient care. Everyone applauded when they saw the results. Adam was sitting in the front row listening carefully. For the first time, he clapped genuinely, feeling proud of being part of a strong team instead of standing above it. After the meeting, Adam went to Maya's office. He told her he wanted to apologize for how he had spoken to her during their first surgery together. She smiled and said that she had already forgotten it. She told him that everyone makes mistakes, but what matters most is how they learn from them. Adam thanked her for her patience and guidance. Maya replied that she did not guide him. She only reminded him of the value of teamwork he already knew deep inside. From that day onward, Adam treated her not just as a boss, but as a teacher. He realized that respect and kindness could build stronger teams than authority and fear. Maya, on the other hand, saw in Adam a man who was learning to become better, not only as a surgeon but also as a human being. Greenfield Hospital began to shine under her leadership, and together they built an environment where skill and respect walked hand in hand. Greenfield Hospital had become a more peaceful and organized place after Maya's arrival. The staff worked with new energy, and even the patients noticed the change. Smiles replaced stress and teamwork replaced confusion. Maya's calm leadership had inspired everyone to do better. But success in a hospital was never permanent. There was always a new challenge waiting around the corner. One morning, the hospital received a message about an upcoming inspection from the National Health Board. It was one of the most important evaluations a hospital could face. The inspection would decide whether Greenfield Hospital would be ranked among the top medical centers in the region. Maya took the news seriously. She knew the board would look at everything, from the condition of the building to the teamwork inside the operating room. It was a chance to show how far they had come, but also a test that could expose every weakness. Maya called a meeting with all department heads. The large conference room filled quickly. Doctors, nurses, and senior staff sat waiting as she entered with her usual calm smile. She explained that the inspection would happen in 2 weeks and that every detail had to be perfect. She said the inspectors would talk to patients, watch surgeries, and check reports. She reminded everyone that teamwork and discipline would be the key to success. Her words gave the team both motivation and pressure. Adam sat quietly in the meeting, thinking about the responsibility. He knew his department would face the hardest part of the inspection because surgery was always under close observation. He wanted to prove that they could meet every standard. Over the past few weeks, he had learned to work better with his team, and now he wanted to make Maya proud. He respected her deeply now, not only as a leader but also as someone who had helped him become a better man. After the meeting, Adam gathered his team. He told them that this inspection was not just about reputation, but also about showing their hard work. The nurses and assistants listened carefully. They all wanted to do their best. Even the younger doctors felt inspired. For the first time, they saw Adam smiling during a team briefing. His tone was still firm, but it carried warmth instead of arrogance. Maya walked through the departments every day, checking progress. She talked to everyone, asking if they needed help. She never ordered people. She guided them. She stayed late many nights, reviewing reports and fixing problems herself. When Adam saw her working so hard, he felt a mix of respect and guilt. He remembered how he had judged her on her first day. He decided to make sure her efforts were not wasted. A few days later, Maya called Adam to her office. She told him that the inspection team would focus on one high-risk operation during their visit. They wanted to observe how the hospital handled complicated cases. Adam would lead the surgery. It was a big opportunity, but also a big responsibility. Maya said she trusted him completely. She told him that this was their chance to show what teamwork really meant. Adam promised her that he would not let her down. The day of the inspection arrived quickly. The hospital was spotless. Floors were shining, files were neatly arranged, and staff members were ready in their uniforms. The inspectors walked in, carrying clipboards and serious faces. Maya greeted them at the entrance and guided them through the departments. They asked questions, checked equipment, and observed how patients were being treated. Everything went smoothly until they reached the surgery section. Adam and his team were already prepared for the demonstration. The operation was on a middle-aged man who needed heart valve repair. It was a risky procedure, and the inspectors wanted to see how the team handled pressure. Maya stood near the observation window watching quietly. Adam took a deep breath, put on his gloves, and started the operation. The room was tense but focused. Every person moved with purpose. The sound of the heart monitor echoed softly in the background. At first, everything went well. Adam worked carefully, giving instructions in a calm voice. The nurses responded quickly, and the young doctor assisting him followed every move perfectly. The inspectors whispered among themselves, taking notes. Maya felt proud as she watched them. She knew how much effort had gone into building this teamwork. But then something unexpected happened. The patient's heartbeat suddenly dropped. The monitor beeped faster, showing danger. The team froze for a moment. Adam's heart raced, but his mind stayed clear. He called out instructions quickly. One nurse brought the defibrillator, while another checked the oxygen. The assistant doctor started monitoring the blood flow. It was a tense few seconds. Everyone worked together with perfect coordination. Adam focused on the heart, and with steady hands he made a quick adjustment. The heartbeat slowly returned to normal. A wave of relief filled the room. The inspectors looked impressed. Maya watched silently, her eyes full of pride. The team had faced a crisis calmly and handled it perfectly. When the surgery ended, Adam took off his gloves and thanked everyone for their effort. It was a moment of victory for all of them. After the surgery, the inspectors met with Maya and the senior staff. They praised the hospital for its teamwork, professionalism, and discipline. They said that Greenfield Hospital had shown great improvement in both care and coordination. Maya smiled and thanked them. When they left, the entire staff cheered in celebration. Adam walked up to Maya and said that her leadership had changed the hospital. She replied that leadership was nothing without the people who followed it with heart. Later that evening, Maya stood near her office window, watching the sunset over the city. She felt grateful. She had faced many challenges in her career, but this one had been special. Changing the mindset of an entire hospital was not easy, but she had done it with patience and trust. She thought about Adam and how much he had grown. He had gone from being proud and dismissive to being respectful and kind. His transformation showed that true strength came from humility. At the same time, Adam sat in the cafeteria drinking tea alone. He thought about everything that had happened. He remembered how he used to treat nurses and staff. He realized how wrong he had been. He now understood what Maya had tried to teach from the beginning. Respect and kindness created stronger results than fear and anger ever could. He looked around and saw his team laughing and talking. For the first time, he felt like part of a family instead of a boss giving orders. That night, Maya received a message on her phone. It was from the hospital board, congratulating her on the successful inspection. They said Greenfield Hospital would be officially ranked among the top hospitals in the region. She smiled, feeling proud of everyone who had worked hard for it. The next morning, she called a small celebration in the main hall. Balloons, music, and smiles filled the air. She thanked every department personally. When she reached the surgery team, she called Adam forward. She handed him a certificate of excellence for his outstanding leadership during the inspection. Adam accepted it with a smile and said that the real credit belonged to the team. Everyone clapped and cheered. Maya looked at him with pride and said that true leaders always share their success. As the celebration ended, Maya walked through the halls quietly, feeling peace in her heart. The same hospital that once had tension and ego now had unity and harmony, and in that moment she knew her mission was not just about rules or management. It was about changing hearts. Adam watched her from across the hall. He knew that she had changed not just the hospital but also his life. He had learned that respect could heal more than medicine ever could, and for the first time, he felt truly proud to be part of something greater than himself. A few weeks after the inspection, Greenfield Hospital was running smoothly. Patients were happy, staff worked with confidence, and every department showed great teamwork. Maya's leadership had brought peace and progress to the place. Everyone respected her calm way of solving problems. Even those who had doubted her before now admired her. But success in a hospital never stayed still. New challenges always appeared without warning. One Monday morning, Maya arrived early as usual. She liked to walk through the hospital before her meetings began. It helped her understand how things were running. She greeted the security guard, checked the reception, and smiled at the nurses. Everything looked fine until she reached the emergency ward. There was a sudden rush. Nurses moved quickly. Doctors called out instructions, and stretchers rolled in fast. A serious accident had happened on the highway nearby. Several patients were being brought in at the same time. Maya immediately joined the scene. She didn't stand back like some administrators. She stepped forward to help manage the crowd. Her calm voice helped everyone stay focused. She directed the nurses to separate patients by urgency, and she guided families to the waiting area. Dr. Adam arrived moments later, wearing his white coat and gloves. He quickly joined her. Without wasting time, they started organizing the emergency response together. One of the injured was a little boy with a deep wound on his chest. Another was an old man with breathing trouble. The staff worked fast but carefully. Maya moved between rooms, checking if equipment and supplies were enough. She noticed one of the nurses struggling to get an oxygen tank working. She helped her fix it quickly. Adam was already inside the operating room with the boy, giving sharp but calm instructions. His voice was serious but kind, showing how much he had changed. He no longer shouted at his team. He guided them with patience and focus. Outside the operating room, Maya met the boy's mother. She was crying quietly, her hands shaking. Maya placed a hand on her shoulder and told her that her son was in good hands. She promised they would do everything possible. The woman nodded with tears in her eyes. Maya stayed with her for a moment, offering comfort before returning to check on the other patients. Hours passed in intense work, but finally things started to calm down. The doctors saved every life that came in that day. The boy was stable, and his mother thanked everyone with tears of relief. After the chaos settled, Maya gathered the staff for a quick meeting. She thanked them for their teamwork and reminded them how proud she was. She looked at Adam and said his leadership during the emergency was remarkable. Adam replied that everyone had done their part perfectly. The staff smiled, knowing how different he had become. The moment was warm and full of respect. But the day was not over yet. As the team started to relax, a phone call came to Maya's office. It was from the hospital's board director. He informed her that the health board wanted to send a surprise review team again, this time to check how the hospital handled emergencies without prior notice. They had heard about the day's accident and wanted to see if Greenfield's system worked properly. The review would happen the next morning. Maya thanked the director for the information. When she hung up, she took a deep breath. She was confident in her team, but she also knew that surprise inspections could bring pressure. She decided not to panic anyone. Instead, she quietly met with the senior staff and informed them to stay alert but calm. She told them that this was another chance to show how well they could handle real-life challenges. Everyone agreed and promised to stay prepared. That night, Maya stayed late in her office reviewing the emergency reports. Adam passed by and saw her working. He walked in and asked if she needed help. She smiled and said she was just making sure everything was ready for tomorrow. Adam offered to stay too. They worked side by side, going through files and checking records. As they talked, Maya noticed how serious Adam looked. He said he felt responsible for maintaining the hospital's new reputation. She told him that reputation meant little compared to real teamwork and patient care. Adam nodded, understanding her point. He admired how she always stayed focused on what truly mattered. The next morning, the review team arrived earlier than expected. They were 3 officials dressed neatly and carrying clipboards. Maya welcomed them with her usual grace. She introduced them to the staff and began showing them around. They checked the emergency room first, since it was the heart of the hospital. The team asked several questions about yesterday's incident. Maya provided detailed answers, explaining how the staff had responded and how every life had been saved. The officials nodded, clearly impressed. Then they decided to test the staff further. One of them asked to simulate an emergency situation to see how fast and effectively the hospital could respond. Maya agreed without hesitation. She called Adam and explained the request. He gathered his team quickly. Within minutes, the doctors and nurses were ready as if it were a real emergency. The simulation began with a fake patient suffering from heart failure. The inspectors stood aside and observed silently while the team worked. Adam led with precision. He gave instructions clearly. The nurses responded fast, handing him equipment and checking the monitor. One nurse reported a sudden drop in pressure, and Adam calmly told her the next steps. The entire process ran smoothly. The inspectors took notes and exchanged looks of approval. Maya stood near the doorway, watching proudly. She knew the real test was not just about skill, but about communication and unity, and that was exactly what her team showed. When the simulation ended, the inspectors smiled. They said they had rarely seen such perfect coordination in a hospital under short notice. One of them praised Maya's leadership and said Greenfield Hospital had set a new standard for others to follow. The staff felt proud and relieved. Maya thanked everyone for their hard work and told the inspectors she was grateful for the opportunity to demonstrate the hospital's progress. After the team left, Adam gathered his department for a short talk. He told them that the success belonged to everyone. He said he had learned that no matter how skilled a doctor might be, no one could save lives alone. The room filled with quiet smiles and nods. Everyone felt connected by shared respect. Later in the day, Maya walked into the children's ward to check on the boy from the accident. He was awake now and smiled weakly when he saw her. His mother thanked her again, saying she would never forget what the hospital had done. Maya replied that it was a team effort. She gently told the boy to rest and recover soon. The warmth in that room reminded her why she had chosen this path. It was not just about systems or inspections. It was about people. In the evening, Maya and Adam met in the hallway. The hospital was calm again. Adam said that the surprise inspection had proved how strong the team had become. Maya agreed and told him that strength built through respect always lasts longer than strength built through fear. Adam said he finally understood what she had been trying to teach him since the first day. They both smiled, knowing how far they had come. That night, the staff celebrated quietly in the cafeteria. There was laughter, tea, and stories about the stressful morning. Maya sat with them, not as a boss but as a member of the same family. Adam sat beside her, talking and joking like an ordinary colleague. Everyone could see the friendship and trust between them. The hospital, once divided by ego and pride, now stood united under respect and compassion. When Maya finally returned to her office, she looked around at the peaceful hospital through her window. She knew there would always be new challenges ahead, but now she also knew that Greenfield Hospital had the strength to face them. Adam, watching the same view from another floor, felt grateful for everything he had learned. He promised himself to carry those lessons for life. Months passed at Greenfield Hospital, and things continued to improve. The once tense atmosphere had turned into a place full of teamwork and care. The hospital was now known across the city for its kindness toward patients and its professional staff. People trusted it because they could feel the warmth in every hallway and room. Maya's leadership had changed everything, and her steady presence made everyone feel safe. Dr. Adam had also changed completely. The arrogant tone in his voice was gone. He now walked through the hospital with calm confidence and friendly respect. The staff, who once feared him, now liked him. They saw him as a true leader who listened, encouraged, and supported them. Even new interns admired him not only for his surgical skills, but also for his patience and humility. Maya often watched him from a distance, proud of how far he had come. One morning, Maya received an invitation from the National Health Board to attend a conference in another city. They wanted her to speak about Greenfield Hospital's transformation and how teamwork could improve patient care. She accepted the invitation gladly. Before leaving, she called Adam to her office. She told him she would be away for 3 days and wanted him to handle operations in her absence. Adam was surprised but honored. Maya said she trusted him completely and knew he would do well. He promised her that everything would run smoothly. When she left the next morning, the hospital felt a little different without her calm presence. Adam took his new responsibility seriously. He made sure every department was ready and that schedules were followed properly. The staff worked well because they had learned discipline under Maya's guidance. But leadership was not easy, and Adam soon learned that being in charge came with new challenges. On the second day, a small misunderstanding happened in the emergency department. 2 nurses argued about the correct medicine dosage for a patient. The argument grew tense, and one of them walked away upset. When Adam heard about it, he went straight to the emergency ward. He called both nurses and listened carefully to each side. He did not raise his voice or choose sides immediately. Instead, he explained that teamwork was about trust and communication. He reminded them that mistakes could happen, but respect must never be lost. Both nurses apologized and agreed to work together again. Adam smiled and said that every small misunderstanding could become a lesson if handled the right way. Later that evening, Adam visited the children's ward again. The boy who had been injured months ago was now fully recovered. When the boy saw Adam, he smiled brightly. His mother thanked the doctor once more and said she would always remember his kindness. Adam told her that kindness was part of healing too. As he left the room, he felt a deep sense of satisfaction. He finally understood what Maya meant when she said healing was not only done with medicine, but also with heart. On the 3rd day, Maya returned. The hospital was calm and orderly. She walked through every department and saw how smoothly things were running. When she met Adam, she smiled and said she had expected nothing less. He thanked her for trusting him and said he now understood how hard her job really was. Maya replied that leadership was not about control, but about guidance. Adam nodded, knowing that her words were true. A few days later, Greenfield Hospital received an invitation to a citywide medical award event. It was an annual ceremony that honored hospitals and doctors for their service to the community. Everyone was excited. When the list of nominations came out, both Maya and Adam were among them. Maya was nominated for her leadership, and Adam for his outstanding contribution to surgery and teamwork. The staff felt proud that their hospital was finally being recognized for its progress. The award night arrived. The hall was large and filled with people from different hospitals, reporters, and officials. The atmosphere was festive and elegant. Maya and Adam sat together with a few senior staff members. When the ceremony began, the announcer spoke about hospitals that had made remarkable improvements in patient care. Then he called Greenfield Hospital to the stage. Maya and Adam walked up together, greeted by applause. The announcer praised Maya for her leadership that had turned the hospital into one of the best in the region. He also praised Adam for showing that humility and skill can exist together. They were both given trophies and certificates of excellence. As they stood on the stage, Maya spoke a few words. She said that no hospital could succeed because of one person alone. True success came from teamwork, respect, and kindness. She thanked every nurse, doctor, and worker at Greenfield for making the dream possible. Her voice was steady and filled with warmth. Adam then added a short message saying that he had once believed skill was everything, but now he knew that respect was just as powerful. The audience clapped loudly, touched by his honesty. After the event, the staff gathered back at the hospital to celebrate. There was laughter, food, and music. Everyone congratulated Maya and Adam. The atmosphere was full of joy. Adam raised his glass and thanked his team for their hard work. He said the awards belonged to everyone because they had all played their part. Maya smiled and said that this was only the beginning. There were still many lives to save and many lessons to learn. As the celebration continued, Maya walked to a quiet corner of the hospital balcony. She looked out at the city lights. The cool breeze touched her face as she thought about her journey. When she had first walked into this hospital, it had been full of stress and ego. Now it was full of unity and hope. She felt proud but also peaceful. She knew that true leadership was not about being powerful, but about helping others find their own strength. Adam joined her on the balcony. He thanked her again for everything she had done. He said that she had not only changed the hospital but also changed him as a person. Maya replied that she had not changed him. He had changed himself when he decided to listen and learn. She told him that her job was to light the path, but walking it had been his choice. Adam smiled and said he would never forget that lesson. They both stood quietly for a while, watching the city together. The night felt calm and the hospital lights glowed behind them like stars. Adam spoke again, saying that he now understood what made Maya such a strong leader. It was not her title or power, but her kindness and patience. Maya smiled softly and said that every person could be a leader if they remembered to respect others. The next morning, work returned to normal at Greenfield Hospital. Patients came in, nurses moved quickly through halls, and doctors prepared for surgeries. Life continued, but something deeper remained in everyone's heart. The culture of respect had become part of the hospital's identity. New staff members learned it from the first day, and old ones carried it proudly. Adam continued to train young doctors, teaching them not only medical techniques but also compassion. He often told them that being a great doctor meant healing both the body and the heart. Maya continued to lead the hospital with balance and care. She trusted her team and they trusted her. Together, they built an environment that people admired from far and wide. Months later, a new intern joined the hospital. She was nervous on her first day and accidentally made a small mistake during preparation for surgery. Adam saw it and calmly helped her fix it. He told her that mistakes were a part of learning and that she should never fear them. Maya happened to pass by and saw the scene. She smiled quietly, proud of how much Adam had grown. The cycle of learning and respect continued just as she had hoped. Greenfield Hospital stood as a symbol of what could happen when people worked together with respect. It became known not just for medical excellence but for humanity and kindness. Patients felt cared for not just as cases but as people. Staff members supported one another through every challenge, and at the heart of it all were Maya and Adam, two individuals who had started as opposites but ended as partners in purpose. Their story became an example for others in the medical field. It taught that no matter how skilled a person was, real greatness came from humility and respect. Greenfield Hospital had not only healed bodies but had also healed hearts. And in that healing, everyone found a new meaning in their work and their lives.